What's up, guys? My name is Tai Zen. Welcome to the cryptocurrency.
จงเที่ยวบินราคาถูก
If you guys can hear me, please say it in the comments that you guys can hear me. Thank you. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear me, guys. Okay, so you guys can hear me clearly. All right, guys, welcome to the cryptocurrency.market channel. This is a channel that's specifically focused on helping people grow their portfolios to a 7, 8, 9-figure portfolio, and how to manage it, how to protect it, and how to keep it once you get there. Okay, so there's two main series of videos on our channel, guys. If you guys are new to our channel, one series is the crypto investing series, and the other one is the life-changing finance series, the one that you're watching right now. And the reason why we have these two series is because the crypto investing talks about the things that we do directly in the crypto market, and then the life-changing finance series that you're watching right now talks about the things that happen outside of crypto that impacts your wealth and your ability to create life-changing profits. If you do everything that we teach you guys in the cryptocurrency investing blueprint course that we have, and you make a profit and it's life-changing, it's not going to matter if the things outside of your portfolio are not in order. Okay, so the life-changing finance series are things that we notice on our team that impacts a person's life-changing finances, right, or their life-changing profits, and it determines whether or not you're able to keep it or not, or lose it after you make it. Okay, so making it is difficult, and then keeping it is even more difficult, right? That's why we constantly tell everyone that about not just making a 7, 8, 9-figure portfolio, but also learning how to keep it and protect it. Okay, so in this video, guys, I want to talk about how chasing short-term feelings and emotions keeps you poor. Okay, and I will talk about several examples, okay, to show you guys so that you can check to see if it's happening in your life. And I'm going to share with you guys the different ways that I have found in my life to overcome the short-term urges that keeps us poor. Now, in case you're new to our channel, my name is Tai Zen, and I was a Vietnamese refugee who left Vietnam. I lived in the Malaysian refugee camps for like a year, a little bit over a year, and after that I immigrated to the US, and I lived in the US for like 40 years, since I was like 5 or 6 years old. And then after I retired in 2017, I moved back to Vietnam and Thailand so that I can retire. And I still broadcast because I enjoy sharing with people the things that I've encountered in my life that has helped me make life-changing profits. When I lived in America, I grew up very poor. My family did not have a lot of money. They were uneducated because we came from a very small fishing village in Vietnam, and my parents did not really understand American culture, so they did not know that if you live in an all ghetto black neighborhood, that it's not a very safe place to live. So because we were very poor, we moved into this very poor ghetto black neighborhood in downtown Port Arthur, and that is a city that's about 90 miles east of Houston, which is located in the southeastern part of the state of Texas. Okay, so when I grew up in this poor ghetto neighborhood, I hung around with a lot of my black friends there, And we did not know anything about making money. We did not know anything about life-changing finances. There was no internet back then. And so we just copied the other people in the neighborhood that made money, and those were all the drug dealers. So I got involved in drugs, and my friends got involved in drugs, and we ended up getting busted by the police because one of my friends betrayed me and set me up with the police. And then I went to prison for almost 14 years. And then from the time I was 18 till about the time I was 32 years old. And then when I came out of prison, it took me about 11 years, excuse me, to get back on my feet and to learn how to trade, learn how to invest. And then I finally made enough money in 2017, and then I was able to retire and bring my whole family back to Southeast Asia to live. The reason why, there are many reasons why I had to leave America after learning how to make life-changing profits in America. One of the primary reasons is because my mom had not seen me for over 40 years, and she was really, her last wishes were to be able to see me one last time before she passed away, and that was the only thing that she cared about. Okay, so she said that over and over and over many times, and finally, it just pushed me to leave the U.S. Okay, so when I came back, right, and I'm not gonna go into depth about the reasons why I could not go and just visit my mom, right? I did not have a green card, and I did not have a U.S. citizenship when I lived in America. I was living in America without any documents, what you would call an illegal immigrant. In my case, I would be called an illegal refugee because I was allowed to enter the U.S. legally as a refugee, but because I was poor and my family did not know about how immigration laws work, they never renewed my green card when I first arrived in the U.S., and I did not know that I was living illegally in the U.S. as a refugee. Okay, I grew up thinking that because I was allowed to live in the U.S., that meant that I was a legal resident there. I never even knew that I was an illegal resident in the U.S. until I went to prison, and they asked me what nationality I was, what citizen I was, and I said, I'm an American. I live here in the U.S. all my life. And they said, where are the documentation? And that's when I realized that I did not have any documentation. Okay, so because of that, when I had to go visit my mom, the only way I can go visit her is a one-way trip. So I can only go one way. Okay, so if I leave the U.S., I would not be able to come back to the U.S. because I have no legal documents to be able to live in the U.S. in the first place. Okay, so that's like a summary of why I left the U.S. Okay, there's many other reasons, but the primary one was because my mom wanted to see me one last time, and I had the financial resources to be able to go back and live in Asia, so that's why I left. Okay, the other thing too is because I didn't like where America was not the same country anymore after I came out of prison. Okay, I spent almost 14 years in prison, and when I came out, the America that I knew was no longer the same, and that's why it was not very difficult for me to make a decision to leave the U.S. for good. Okay, okay. So let me see here. He's saying that my volume is not very loud. Give me a second here, guys. Let me adjust the volume. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ah, man, I try to set up my live streaming setup, and I'm trying to keep it so it's consistent. I don't change anything, but okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me know if the audio is good, guys. I increased the gain from 5. I'm going to increase the gain from 5 to 7 here. and see if that will help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me know if the gain increase on the audio helped any. I turned it up from on the OBS live streaming software. I turned it up from 3 to 7. Okay. All right. So still small. I don't know what I can increase the gain slightly, but then it might bring in some background noise. Okay. So let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So what happened was, when after nearly 14 years, when I came out of prison, right? Let me see here. When I came out of prison, guys, I remember meeting this white guy. I forget his name because it's been so long, right? But I met him through a friend of a friend, and I'm just gonna call him this country boy, right? Really nice guy, really helpful. He was a friend of a friend, and this country guy, right? He took me out and he tried to show me around the city of Austin, and he showed me how beautiful. Matter of fact, this is the one guy. I have his name in my phone. I just can't remember right at the top of my head right now. All right. Okay. Okay. So what happened was, this guy, he took me all around Austin, in the city of Austin, and that's like one of the most beautiful cities in America, with beautiful rivers, lakes, mountains, hills, everything. And so I remember him taking me around, and then he introduced me to one of his friends. We stopped to eat, and he introduced me to one of his friends, and he told his friend that, and I still remember this to this day, he told his friend about me just coming out of prison after nearly 14 years. And his friend was like in shock, like, hey, you know, like, how did you survive in prison since 18 years old? And I said, nah, I just did what I could, you know, to survive. There was violence, there's lots of stress, and, you know, lots of mental stress and everything, but I did what I could to survive in there, to get back out and rebuild my life. And he said, how did you go that long without any girls or having any sex or anything like that? And I said, I really didn't have much of a choice. I mean, there's no girls in the prison, and even if there is, it's illegal. The female prison guards that's in there, it's illegal for a prisoner to have sex with a prison guard. You know, it's illegal. So it's also illegal for you to have sex with another prisoner or for anybody. Sex was illegal in prison. Okay, so he said, and I remember this. The guy, he was so shocked, right? And he asked his friend, the country guy, you know, is this for real? Is this Ty for real? Did he actually do almost 14 years in prison, right? For drugs that he didn't have and for shooting people that he didn't shoot. And my friend told him, yeah, this is him, right? And so I remember the guy, he reached into he opened up his wallet and he took out 5 $100 bills. And he took the $500 and he slammed it on the table. And he said, you know what? I cannot sit here and watch somebody not have sex since they were 18 years old for almost 14 years. And he said, you still haven't had sex since you came out of prison, right? And I remember that this was like the first month that I came out of prison. And I told him, no, I still have not had sex since I came out of prison, right? And he says, there's no way I'm going to sit here with a guy that has not had sex for 14 years and not do something about it. And he goes, we're going to take this $500 right here and we're going to go get you some poontang and get you a girl right now. And he looked at me and he was waiting. Both of them were waiting. They were laughing and they were waiting for me to be excited and jump for joy about that, right? And the response that I told them completely shocked them, okay? I told them that if you really want to help me, after I've been in prison for almost 14 years, I would prefer if you loan me that $500 so I can go learn how to invest into the stock market and learn how to trade it in the stock market. All right. And when I said that, these two white guys that had the absolute craziest look in their eyes and on their face. Now, in case you guys don't know about America, when you come to America, the white people in America are some of the craziest people you've ever met. They do some of the craziest shit, man. You know, if a UFO lands in America, you will not see black people running to the UFO to greet the aliens. You will not see the Vietnamese people or the Chinese people go greet the aliens. You will not see the Mexicans go say hello to them and offer them a taco. But you will definitely see white people lining up to go meet these aliens. Okay? So that's how crazy white people are in America. Okay? They will take a rocket engine and weld it to a bicycle just to see how fast that bicycle can go. All right? That's why America is a very innovative country, because you got a lot of crazy white people in there that will do some crazy stuff to invent new stuff. Okay? But as crazy as they were, you know, these white people were, they had never heard something as crazy as the shit that I just told them. That instead of going to get laid and get some sex, right, that I would prefer they give me that $500, loan it to me, so I can go learn how to trade it in the stock market. Right? That's exactly what I told them. Okay? They couldn't believe what they just heard. And after they recovered from their shock, they asked me, like, why don't you want to go get some sex right now when you haven't gotten laid and you haven't slept with a woman in 14 years? And I told them that trying to chase women is what got me in prison in the first place. And I told them that the majority, like over 90% of the guys in prison, right, are in there because they were trying to impress girls and chase girls. And I told them that I made a promise to myself that when I came out of prison, I would not be chasing girls anymore. I'm going to become the type of man that girls would have to chase me. Okay? So, and that's what my mind was focused on. Okay? And when I look back at those years when I first came out of prison in 2000 and in late 2006, right? When I was working as a club promoter and a security guard down as a bouncer in the club district of Austin, Texas, it was very, very tempting to look around and see all the people partying, all the people having fun, all the people drinking, and this is every weekend, guys. They would the city government would block off about 6 or 7 city blocks, right, where the club district and the bar district was at, and all the college kids and all the people in Austin would come to this one street called 6th Street in downtown Austin, and they would party their ass off. They would get drunk, they would have fun, they would chase girls, they would look for girls, and you know, they would look for guys, and it was just all a crazy entertainment area. Okay, so that's where I learned about women. That's where I learned about men. That's where I learned about, you know, money. I learned a lot of things there in that district because there was crazy girls there. There was crazy guys there. There was rich guys there. There was extremely wealthy guys there. There was a wide variety of people that came down to that entertainment district. So I got to meet a lot of people. Matter of fact, most of the people that I have met in my life that are in my network now are the people that I met when I worked there on 6th Street in downtown Austin. Okay? Right? So what happened was, the thing that I noticed, that I look back, right? I still have friends and coworkers that still work on 6th Street, and that was in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and So for those 3.5 years that I worked down there, or almost 4 years that I worked down there on 6th Street, right? I look back and I see that my coworkers, some of my coworkers are still working down there. Some of my friends are still working down there. Some of the girls that I used to work with down there, they're still single. Some of the guys, they're still single. Now, I want you guys to do the math, right? Since 2006, and we're in 2023 right now, so that would make it about 17 years have passed, right? Since I worked on 6th Street. And these people, whenever I talk to them or whenever they see me that I'm retired today, the first thing that everyone always tells me is that you're so lucky that you had extra money to buy Bitcoins when it was only $200 or $300, right? That's what I always get from people. They always say that I'm lucky, okay? Or they always say that you know, I was lucky to have the extra money, and I was lucky to be able to buy Bitcoins when it was $200, $300, right? And what they didn't realize was that it's not luck that I got the extra money. The reason why I had the extra money was because I did not chase short-term feelings and emotions. And if you guys are new to my channel, right, you may have never heard me talk about short-term feelings and emotions before. Most of the people that you look around the world that are poor, right, the number one reason is because, hey Chop, the number one reason that people are poor, right, is because, hey Chop, hey, can you take him to the gun and take it? Can you take it somewhere else so it doesn't have all that noise? So the kids like to wait, and when they see me start talking to the camera, I like to stand right behind the camera here, even though I'm in a glass office here in my living room. You know, I try to make it as soundproof as I can, but whenever the kids see me start talking instead of working on the computer, they love to come right behind the camera right here and make all the noise, okay, with their toys. So anyways, the primary reason that people are poor is because of their ego. That's the number one reason that keeps people poor, is because they refuse to admit they don't know something, right? They don't refuse to admit they don't know about money. They refuse to admit they don't know about business. And what happens is, and they think they know everything. And that's the number one reason that keeps people poor and in poverty. The root cause of poverty, from my experience, right, is not because someone lacks the knowledge. It's not because someone lacks the capital, all right? It's not because someone lacks the skill. The primary reason that somebody is poor is because of their ego, okay? They refuse to admit they don't know. They refuse to admit they don't have financial skills. They refuse to admit they don't have investing skills, and they believe that they can go figure it out on their own. That's the number one reason, okay? It's ego, right? I have people right now that when I tell them to invest into crypto, even though I'm a retired multimillionaire, right? When I tell them, they still argue with me and they still refuse to believe me, all right? We have, right, before July of this month, before we release the Vietnamese version of the cryptocurrency investing blueprint course that we had about 300 students, and out of the 300 students and the people on our team, right, we have produced an estimated 100 millionaires. All right, now that's a pretty high success rate to have 300 people and roughly 100 of them have become millionaires. Okay, and how do I know they became millionaires? Because they text me or they call me, and they call me and thank me in person, right, for helping them become millionaires. And that's how I know, okay? I did not go audit them. I did not go see if they lie or not, okay? Most of our students, I know how much they start with. They start with $10, $20, $30, $40,000, right? And I know the coins they bought because they bought the same coins that we buy. and I know how much we made in percentage profits. So if they say that, if I bought if I bought Cardano at 10 cents, at between less than 10 cents, and it went up to $3.40, right? And they did the same thing at the same time we did, or roughly around the same time we did. I don't find that suspicious whenever they say that they became a millionaire if they put this much money into it and bought these coins at that price and sold at that price. Okay, so anyways, right, the number one cause of poverty and being poor is ego. Like when my family came to America, even though there's lots of opportunities in America to become a millionaire, right, I think it's like the statistics are that 1 out of 4 people in America are millionaires. Now, it sounds strange because you also hear the statistic that, over 50% of Americans do not have $1,000 in their bank account, right? But that doesn't mean that the other 50% of the people in America are poor also, okay? A quarter of the people in America have $1 million worth of money, stocks, and real estate, okay? So, by the way, when we say that on our team, whenever we say somebody's a millionaire, we do not include real estate in there. When we say that we're millionaires, that is cash millionaires, okay? That's not like stock millionaires or crypto millionaires or real estate millionaires. That is strictly cash millionaires. That does not include any of the other asset classes, just cash only, all right? So my family, even though we came to America and there's lots of opportunities there, my dad is actually homeless in Port Arthur. He's actually living on the streets, okay? And you guys might say, well, Ty, how can you be online teaching people how to make life-changing profits and life-changing finance while your family are poor, okay? Let me give you guys some examples. My dad lives in, like, it's the equivalent of being homeless, okay? My uncle, same way, and then that's in America. And then my little sister in America, you just put it in the poor category too, brokey. And if you count the people in my family in Vietnam, I have a bigger network of family in Vietnam. And my younger brother, he's homeless, right? My older brother, he came out of prison after 30 years, thanks to Donald Trump, who corrected his sentence, right? Because he was never supposed to be in prison in the first place, right? And Donald Trump corrected his sentence after 30 years, and they let him out. So my older brother is also broke, and he lives with me and helps me out, right? So besides me, the majority of my family are broke and in poverty. Okay, they're broke. In America, we would call it a bunch of broke asses. Okay, now you might say, "Hey Ty, how is it possible that you are a multi-millionaire and then the rest of your family are all broke?" Okay, the reason is because when I came out of prison, when I went to prison, everybody left me for dead. Okay, everybody said I'm a high school dropout, I'm a fucking loser, I'm a nobody, and I'll never amount to anything. And that if they are on the streets and they never do anything with their lives and never became rich, then it's impossible for me to come out of prison after 14 years and think that I was going to become rich or become a millionaire or become successful in life, okay? And they were completely wrong about that, because during the 14 years I was in prison, right, I spent every waking minute that I could to improve my mindset and increase my wealth mindset. So because even though I was in prison, see, most people don't know this, but your mindset and your money, they go together. For example, if I increase my wealth mindset, then my money has to follow along. Now, it also works in the opposite. If you hit the lottery, or you get an inheritance, or you get a bonus at work and your money goes up like this, but your mindset is still here, then you will do everything you can to get rid of that money and lose it somehow, or spend it so that it comes back down to here. Your money and your mindset can be slightly apart. For example, your mindset can be here, your money can be here, it can be up here, but it cannot be too far away, because if it's too far away, then it has to rebalance itself. And usually what happens is the money will come down, right, and meet the where your mindset is at. So many people are shocked at how I was able to be a high school dropout. I came to America as a refugee. I dropped out of high school in the 11th grade. I went to prison for almost 14 years, and I came out and became a multi-millionaire in 11 years, right? The reason is because when I was in prison, most people don't see this, is that I already built my mindset up like this. Okay, it's really, really high already. So I had a massive wealth mindset that I spent 14 years developing, okay? And I just never had the opportunity to go out and execute and make money. And that was the reason why when you come out, when you meet me, when I first came out of prison and you talk to me, I sound like a rich guy. I sound like a wealthy guy. I do not talk or sound or behave like a poor guy. However, I was financially poor. And that was because I needed time to execute the things that I needed to execute and do so that my money can catch up. Okay? And once it starts to gain momentum, the money caught up very quickly, right? Like this, right? So that was how I became wealthy within just 11 years. Okay? And that was how that was how I came out and made money and retired. You know, it's not by luck, it's not by accident. I already had developed over a decade worth of mindset. So I did not have a poverty mindset. And then the last 6 years that I was in prison, right, I had an opportunity. Many of you guys may not know this, but I'm born a gifted artist. Okay, you guys never hear me talk about that much because it has, to me, it has nothing to do with making money. But I'm one of the baddest artists you'll ever meet in your life. Okay, I would be like the equivalent of like Michelangelo or Da Vinci. Okay, if we were living at the same time. Okay, and I'm not saying that lightly. It's because I was not. I mean, I did not ask for this gift of art, but it was God gave it to me somehow. I don't know, but I know that if anybody does art, I don't need to learn it. If I just see you do it, I can replicate what you do. But if you see what I do, you will not be able to replicate what I do. You know, and the reason why you guys don't hear me talk a lot about art was because when I was in America, right, I went to lots of museums. I've seen lots of artists. I never saw an artist that really impressed me that much because everything they did, I would be able to look at it and be able to do it. Like, I remember going to New York City, and a lot of the street artists there, they would paint all the graffiti, the stars, the moons, the planets and everything with the spray paint and everything. And they would, sometimes when I stand there and look at them and watch them, they would think that I would never be able to do what they do, right? And some of them were a little bit arrogant about it, but unbeknownst to them, I was sitting there watching them as they paint and do the spray paint. And in my memory, I would record everything that they did. And if they step aside, I would actually be able to come in and step in and finish their painting for them. And they would never even know. No one would ever know that I did half the painting and the graffiti artist did the other half. Okay, so I'm saying that not to brag about it. I'm just saying that because that's what the gift that I was born with. That I didn't even know I had that gift until I went to prison because I was busy working my ass off when I was on the streets. So I never even touched a brush or paint or anything or a canvas. I never knew that until I went to prison. And that's when I started seeing people paint. And that's when I couldn't figure out why these people were struggling so much with their paintings. And I would be able to come in there, grab the brush and show them, hey man, look, I don't know why you're struggling with this, but it's not that hard. And then I would do it. And that's when I started to, after a few years, I realized, hey, the reason why art comes so easily for me is because I was born a gifted artist. Okay. Now I tell you guys about being the gifted artist, not because I want to brag about me being a badass artist. Okay. That's not the reason. I'm telling you that because one of the things that I was able to do instead of working outside in the fields or working in the dishwashing room in the kitchen washing dishes, I had this gift for art. So the Polish priest, okay, one of the prison staff was a Polish priest. So every prison in America has a church that they call a chapel. Okay, so to make it neutral, so they don't call it a church, so it's for Christians. They call it a temple for the Buddhists, and they call it a mosque for the Muslims, right? They just call it a chapel. So that's like a neutral term that means a place of worship inside a prison. So every prison has a chapel, so everyone can come there and do their religious worship. And then each chapel will have several chaplains. Okay, now that chaplain can be a minister, it can be a priest, or it can be an imam from the outside of the prison, or it can be somebody that is an employee of the prison system. Okay, so the prisons would use both. In some cities, they would have a priest, a Catholic priest, available, so they would hire the Catholic priest to work for the prison full time. In some prisons, there was no Catholic priest available, or there was no imam available. So because of that, they would just ask a local church or a local temple to send a monk or a religious person to come in, right, to teach people. Okay. Okay, so most of the time, we would have some out of the Buddhist, Christian, and Islam religion. At least most prisons will have at least one person that is a prison staff, and then the others would be volunteers from the neighborhood. Okay, so at the prison I was at, right, at the federal prison I was at, I was fortunate enough to have a Polish priest, a Polish Catholic priest, as a prison as one of the chaplains, and he helped out thousands of people. Okay, I mean he helped out a bunch of young guys like myself, and he helped young guys avoid suicides. He prevented lots of suicides in prison. He prevented a lot of people that wanted to kill themselves that came into prison. Okay, that saw no end in sight. You know, my friends and I, we are still grateful for this Catholic priest, for this Polish Catholic priest. Matter of fact, in 2021, when I took profits to thank him for helping me and all the other young prisoners in prison, I sent him money so that he can buy 3 condos in Warsaw, in Poland, so that he can have 1 condo to live in, and then he can have the other 2 condos that he can rent out, so that he can have an income when he retires as a priest. Because you guys know priests do not make a lot of money. Okay, and I felt like that was the least that I could do for the decade of guidance, counseling, and advice that he gave me when I was in prison. Okay, so because I was a gifted artist, and the Polish Catholic priest recognized I was a gifted artist, he would hire me in the prison. He would pull me away from the kitchen so I didn't have to wash dishes, and he would pull me away from the landscaping crew so I didn't have to work in the hot sun and cut grass. And he stuck me in a closet, in a storage closet inside the chapel, and I would paint Catholic paintings for the chapel. Okay, which I did not know about, painting Catholic paintings, but he, brought lots of Catholic books, lots of videos that were in the chapel library, and I was able to watch him, and he would explain to me what these Renaissance artists were doing, right? And that's how I learned. So not only was I a gifted artist that he recognized, but he shared with me lots of material and content about the Renaissance artists in Europe. And that's how I was able to say that I'm a badass artist, because I spent 6 years of my life painting for that chapel. Okay, and maybe I'll post on Twitter so that you guys can see the painting I did. Matter of fact, let me do that right now so that you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about, so that it makes it helps you guys remember what I'm talking about much easier. So I'll add the video, the picture that I painted in there to the tweet that I tweeted out about this, and you guys may have seen me posted somewhere online before. I might have, I don't remember, but in case I didn't, here it is right here. Just give me a second to pull it up. And then this is a this is some of the paintings that I did right here. Why isn't I just posted about? I can't even find the damn post that I just posted on Twitter. I thought I just posted this on Twitter. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. I tweeted it out on Twitter, and I never even tweeted it. I wrote the tweet, but I never tweeted it. So, okay. Okay, if you guys look on my Twitter, I just posted the photo of it. Okay, so those are the Catholic paintings that I did. Okay, now obviously those are not original paintings, those are replicas, so don't jump on my ass. Okay, but those are the paintings that the Polish priest wanted in his chapel, and so because of that, right? Because of that, I would paint those for him. Okay, so there's the painting. Okay, let me know if you guys can see it on Twitter. Okay, let me know if you guys can see it on Twitter. Okay. 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 Pothead asked me, "Did I know Bun B and Pimp C?" I do not know them personally. I mean, they've seen me when I was young over there, and I've seen them. Now, I know in their songs, right? So, in case you guys don't know who Bun B and Pimp C is, they are the members of a very popular rap band. Rap group in America, right? Matter of fact, one of the songs they sing that I really like is the one they sung with Jay-Z, right? I'm aware of them, but in 1993, when I went to prison, right, they were not as big as they were until after I went to prison. Okay, so in the in some of their rap songs, they rap about being, throwing people off the seawall and living in, being in the cuts near Short, Texas, and stuff in downtown Port Arthur. And the reality is I was actually living in that area, closer to that area than they were. Okay, so, but anyways, yes, I am aware of who Bun B and Pimp C is. They're from the rap group called UGK down. They come from Port Arthur. Okay, so. Okay, so you guys see that photo of the painting I did in the chapel for the Polish priest. Okay, so you got to ask if I renounced the U.S. citizenship. I never renounced it because I told you I never had it. I was living in the U.S. as an illegal refugee, so I never had a U.S. citizenship, and I did not have a green card or anything. I did not have any legal documents to live in the U.S. Okay, and I did not know that until I went to prison. So if you guys are wondering, like, why did you live in the U.S. for 40 years and not, get naturalized or get your immigration documents? Well, first of all, my family was too poor and they were too uneducated and they were too ignorant to know that you had to renew a green card. And so what do you want me to do? I did not know that until I went to prison. Okay. The whole time I lived in the U.S., I thought I was a legal resident in the U.S. Okay. I went there when I was 5 years old. I grew up. I went to, first grade all the way up to the 11th grade, just like everybody else in America. And it never once crossed my mind that I was a illegal resident in the U.S. when I was living there. Okay. So you really can't blame me for it because I did not know until I went to prison. All right. So anyways, the reason why I brought the art and the Polish priest and the chapel and everything was because when I was working there painting those murals and those paintings for the chapel, I did it inside a very small closet. And I'm not kidding. It's the painting area that I had to paint the paintings is probably just a little bit wider than my arms, and it's not very big. It's like there's not a lot of space because it was a storage closet, so there's a lot of stuff in there. So I didn't have a lot of space, but it was the only space that I could paint without interfering with the chapel's Catholic services and the chapel's religious services that I had throughout the day. Okay, so I would just be there in the back, and I would listen to all the sermons and all the preachings from everybody, and unbeknownst to them, I'd be in the back in the closet, sitting there painting away, right? And so the reason why I'm telling you guys about these paintings and about me painting and about me being in prison was because at that time, I did not have anything to do except for paint all day. So in the chapel, they would have what's called the chapel library. And in there, they would have cassettes of all the religions in the world. Any religious leader that you want to listen to, if you wonder how I know a little bit about Christianity, a little bit about Islam, a little bit about Buddhism and all this, right? This because they had a library full of all these religious materials for you to study if you wanted to. And if there was something that you wanted that the prison didn't have, all you would do is you would write to that religious organization, and usually if you tell them you're in prison, they will donate it to you. Okay, so I have requested tons of religious materials to be donated to the chapel that I used to be at, in the prison I used to be at. Just like in the movie, I forget that one prison movie, by Stephen King. I forget, but how the guy kept requesting people to donate books to the prison library. I did the same thing when I was in prison. So that's not that I can tell you that is true, because most people, if you tell them you're in prison, they will donate books to you. Okay, now no, it wasn't the Green Mile. It's the one where the guy escapes prison. He helps the prison warden do his finances, and then he comes out, and then he ends up transferring the money. It's the one with the older black guy that they meet at the end. So anyways, I tell you that because when I was in there, I listened to this Zen master. Okay, there's two Zen masters that I listened to. One is an American one named Alan Watts. Okay, so I listened to pretty much everything that he taught. Oh, no, there's three. There's three, because I came from a Buddhist background, but that's not the reason why I listened to the Zen meditation and the Zen teachings. Okay, so you wonder why, I changed my name to Tai Zen. That's because that's the most amazing thing I ever learned in my life. Okay, even more so than learning how to make life-changing profits. Because when I learned about Zen, I was sitting there painting, right? Yeah, the Shawshank Redemption. That's it. That's the movie, right? Where the white guy was in there, requesting all the donations. That's exactly what the movie is. So I was doing the same thing, except I was doing it for the chapel library. So I was getting all of these material in, and I would listen to Alan Watts about the Zen meditation, and I would listen to the Indian guy named Osho about the Zen meditation also. And then I would listen to a Vietnamese, the most popular Vietnamese Zen master. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh, okay? And he's from the imperial city of the original, the old imperial city where the last emperor ruled in Vietnam, called Hue. If you guys ever go to Vietnam, right? It's about an hour north of where I'll be building my Texas mansion in the city of Da Nang. So it's in Hue. So that's where his temple is at. And we had lots of books from him. And even though I speak Vietnamese, I don't know the religious terms very well. So even though I was listening to Thich Nhat Hanh in Vietnamese and in English, it was still not as easy as for me to understand as listening to someone like Osho or to Alan Watts. And I mention these guys, right, because it really helped me realize how my ego hurt me in prison. I got into lots of fights. I got into lots of problems in prison because I couldn't manage my ego. And so when I learned about the Zen meditation, I would practice the Zen meditation for like 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening, right? And I would try to do it when I'm not tired, because when you try to meditate when you're tired, it's extremely difficult to meditate, all right? So I learned that, and then I also signed up for a correspondence meditation course from a temple called Zen Mountain Monastery in New York, okay? So they sent me an extensive Zen training program for prisoners, right? And so that's what I did. So for 6 years, I would practice the Zen meditation program that was sent to me by the Zen Mountain Monastery in New York City, right? And so they sent me that, and I studied that, and I practiced it. And after 6 years, when I came out of prison, I realized that my ego being able to control my ego and let it down was a huge benefit. And that was how I was able to make life-changing profits out in the world after I came out of prison so quickly. Now, some of you guys might think 11 years is quick. I did not think it was quick enough, okay? So I did that, and I'm sharing with you guys that because what happened was I realized that when I was working in downtown Austin in the entertainment district, right? I realized that so many people wasted so much money and so much time chasing short-term pleasures, short-term emotions, and short-term feelings. If you think about it, if you go drink a glass of alcohol, right, do you get a buzz for that 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours? Yes. Do you get to be drunk and act stupid and be loose and be yourself and act wild and then for a night and then recover the next day? You get drunk, it costs you a day to recover, and then the third day you're still trying to recover from it and you're barely back to normal, okay? So these are the things that I see people do. They chase girlfriends, they chase partying, they chase sex, and one of the biggest evils that I see is that people chase drugs, okay? Now, I see so many people, right, chase after a short-term buzz with marijuana, with cocaine, with heroin, with methamphetamine. I don't know what this fentanyl is, right? I never heard about it until I came out of prison, okay? So I see so many people chasing short-term feelings. They scroll through the TikToks, they scroll through the Instagrams, they scroll through the Facebooks, and everyone around me, everyone I see is chasing short-term pleasures and short-term emotions and short-term feelings, right? Hey, Chop. Hey, Chop. Hey, Chop. Hey, can you help me get this? All right. And I realize when, the question that a lot of people ask me is that, hey, Ty, how did you know with so much certainty, how were you so confident that you were going to become a millionaire when you came out of prison and you have no high school degree, you have no wealthy families, you have nothing. You came out with nothing, When I came out of prison, when they processed me to get released from prison, I remember telling the prison guard, right? Well, 1 minute, right? I remember telling the prison guard, hey man, is it okay if you give me 3 t-shirts and 3 boxer shorts? Okay. And the prison guard looked at me like, why do you need 3 t-shirts and 3 boxers for? I said, because where I'm going, it's going to be very cold, and I know you guys can't give me a prison jacket, so at least can you give me like 3 t-shirts? I don't have a jacket, I don't have nothing, right? And the prison guard was a nice enough guy, he says, all right, man, so he gave me three T-shirts to wear, right, and three prison boxers underwear, and that's what I left prison with. And I remember, hand washing those things when I got out of prison. The first few weeks that I got out of prison, I was trying to wash it and rewear it, and those were the only three T-shirts I had that I would go to work with and everything, right? And then within, like, after I got the first paycheck, the first thing I wanted to do was go buy some new T-shirts and buy some new underwear, so I didn't have to wear prison clothes out on the streets. But for like the first few weeks that I was out on the streets, I was still wearing prison clothes. People just didn't know it, right? And it was very, did it hurt? Yes, it did. Mentally, it's like, it sucks that I'm free out here, but I'm still not free because I'm still wearing prison clothes because I didn't have enough money to buy new clothes, right? It took me a few weeks to get my first paycheck, and then first thing I did was run and go buy some T-shirts because I did not want to wear prison clothes out on the streets when I'm a free man, right? So the reason why I was so confident that I was going to become a millionaire someday was because I look around when I was working in the entertainment district. I look around and 99.9999% of the people around me were only focused on short-term feelings and emotions. Okay? And when I say short-term feelings and emotions, you guys might think that I'm just talking about pleasures, getting drunk, getting high, getting sex, things like that. Actually, I'm not. Actually, that was just a small portion of the short-term feelings and emotions that I'm talking about. The reason why I say that that's only a small portion of what I'm talking about is because the short-term feelings and emotions that I saw these people do, right, that the public does, was only on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay? But the rest of the week, when they're not at the club district, when they're not on 6th Street, when they're not in downtown Austin, and they're not in the entertainment districts, they're at home, they're at work, and they still focus on short-term feelings and emotions, right? So I want you guys to notice what I'm talking about, okay? If you are at work and you are, matter of fact, I want you to look at yourself, okay? Look at yourself and look at what happened today, okay? It's 9:30 in the morning for me. For most of you guys in America, it's either 9:30 at night or 10:30 at night, or it's between 7:30 to 10:30 at night, okay? I want you guys to notice what happened to you guys today. What did you do today? What did you eat today? Who did you talk to? Who did you look at on the internet, right? And you will notice that the vast majority of the actions that we do every day are focused on short-term feelings and emotions, right? Our channel, the majority of the followers on our channel, and I'll tell you exactly what the number is so that it's accurate. If I go into my audience right here on YouTube and I look at the, let's just say the last 365 days, right? The statistics on my thing show that my YouTube analytics, it shows that 95% of my audience are male, only 5% are female. And I'm rounding this off, okay? The majority of our people are between 18 to 44 years old. No, 18 to 54 years old, with the vast majority being between 25 to 44 years old. Okay, so that's the bulk of the followers. Okay, 95% men, 5% women, and between 18 to 54 years old, with the bulk of it being between 25 and 44. Okay, so I want you guys to look at everything that you guys did today and ask yourself, did you do this for short-term pleasure and emotions? Right? Did you get upset today? Did you get sad today? Did you feel a little depressed today? Did you feel a little bit lonely today? All these things are short-term feelings and emotions. And as a strong, masculine man, you should avoid all that bullshit, right? One of the things that my wife gets upset about, or she's not happy with, is when she hears me tell my sons, right, do not let short-term feelings and emotions affect who you are and what you do, right? Do not let what other people say, do not let what other people do affect your feelings and your emotions, right? If someone can control your feelings and your emotions, then you are a servant or a slave to that person. If I can come by and say something that triggers you to get upset, if I can say something that triggers you to feel sad, if I can trigger you to feel happy, I can trigger you to get angry, then you are not in control of yourself. And those people who are not in control of themselves, right, are not capable of making life-changing profits. And if they do make it by accident, they will not keep it for very long, okay? So I tell my wife all the time that, you know, she asks me, well, how do you feel about this, Ty? How do you feel about that? Or, you know, I said, I don't feel nothing. I tell my wife that. And she looks at me shocked, and I'm like, don't ever ask me how I'm feeling. Okay, even when you see me fall down and fall over dead, don't ask me how I'm feeling, okay? And she goes, why, you know, like, why don't you want to have feelings? Because I told her, I said, as a man, right, that's not my job to have feelings. That's your job. You're the woman, you're the female in this team right here. You're the female, I'm the male. You're the woman, I'm the man. It's your responsibility to have feelings, stupid feelings, okay? It's not my responsibility to have bullshit feelings every minute and then base my whole entire life around how I feel for 5 minutes and then go to the next 5 minutes and now I'm happy, next 5 minutes I'm sad, next 5 minutes I'm horny, next 5 minutes I'm satisfied, next 5 minutes I'm drunk, next 5 minutes I'm high, next 5 minutes I'm something else. I said, that's not how strong men, right, run their lives, okay? If you want a weak-ass man that gets emotional and has feelings and all that shit, you should have married a weak-ass, you know, beta male or something. You cannot marry a strong-ass man like me and then expect me to have feelings, okay? And she goes, don't you have feelings for me? I said, yeah, I have a responsibility to you because you're my wife, you know. I love you, but love is just a feeling, okay? The reality is I have a responsibility to you. I have an agreement with you that you are going to be my wife. You're going to bang me, right? And you're going to take care of me. You're going to support what I do. You're going to produce children for me. And my responsibility to you on the other side of the agreement, whether it's a contractual agreement, whether it's a verbal agreement, whether it's a written agreement or not, right? There is an agreement in society that I am your husband, right? So I have to provide for you. I have to take care of you. I have to protect you. And I have to make sure that, you know, the decisions I make are in the best interest of us, our family, and our team, right? And she will ask me, right, like, you know, don't you think that when you're doing that, you're being cold or whatever? I said, absolutely not. Okay? Don't ever teach my 3 sons to have feelings. Don't ever teach my 3 sons about getting emotional. Don't ever teach my 3 sons to tell them that it's okay to be emotional. Don't ever tell them some stupid shit like that. Okay? I want my 3 boys to grow up and be strong, masculine men. I don't want them to grow up and be a bunch of lady boys or consider cutting off their balls and then become a little girl or something. Okay? Don't ever talk about emotions to my kids. Okay? One of the reasons why I also make this video, right, is that way I can record exactly what I think, you know, and what I believe about the things to be a strong man in this world, because you have a lot of these idiots online nowadays teaching young boys and young men how to be little girls. Okay? I that's not the culture that I grew up in. When I first came to America, right, I grew up around Rambo. I grew up around Rocky. I grew up around Dutch from Predator. I grew up around Bruce Willis, right, from Die Hard. I grew up around Conan the Barbarian, right? I did not grow up, right, where Spider-Man has skinnier arms than my wife. Okay, like Tom Holland, all these bullshit skinny ass, weak ass men that's portraying strong heroes. That's not how I grew up. Okay, I grew up, you had to be strong. You had to be masculine. And then when I went to prison for 14 years, that was amplified 100 times. A lot of this bullshit that you guys see out in society today, teaching men how to be weak and shit. When you go to prison and there's no money, there's no more status, there's no fast cars, there's no businesses, there's nothing around, and it's very primitive, you will see what it means to be a strong man. Okay? If you're not a strong man, you're going to be Bubba's little bitch. Okay? In case you don't know what English is not your primary language and you don't come from America or you don't understand American culture, Bubba is the big white guy in prison that is going to treat you like a little girl and fuck you in the ass. Okay? If you're a weak guy. And then the black version of that is what we call Tyrone or Leroy. Okay? So if you hear someone say that, you don't want to be Leroy or Tyrone or Bubba's little bitch or little girlfriend, that's what they mean. Okay? The unfortunate thing is when we go out here into the free world, out into the streets, you are not under threat to be Bubba's little girlfriend. You are not under threat to be Leroy or Tyrone's little girlfriend. Okay? Now, unfortunately, when I came to prison at 18 years old, I was not a very street smart guy, right? So Leroy and Tyrone did try to fuck me in the ass and try to rape my ass, okay? And luckily, I was able to survive it and didn't get raped in the ass, and make it out today, okay? If I did, I don't know what would happen to me in my life, okay? But I was able to figure out a way to resolve that issue, right, and not get fucked in the ass, okay? But I can tell you that a lot of these soft dudes out here on the streets, right, they would not be so soft if we had the environment, the American environment that I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, okay? Some of these guys nowadays, they're just so soft, they can't even bust a grape, But anyways, when I came out of prison, I realized that it was for certain, there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to become a millionaire someday. It was only a matter of when, okay? And the reason was because I saw everyone around me, all they are concerned about is just short-term feelings and emotions. Every day, they're happy here, they're sad there, they're depressed, they're lonely, all this dumb shit, from sitting around playing video games and surfing on the internet, right? That's all they did. And they're worried about what people say, they're worried about what people do, they're not producing. If you look at back in the old days, right, like 100, 200 years ago, before we had the Industrial Revolution, we lived in an agricultural society. Men got up in the morning, they go plow the fields, they go plant food, and they harvest food, they, raise cattle, they grow chickens, they grow cows, they raise donkeys, they raise goats, and men were productive, right? And so you go out there and you work your ass off and you created food and you brought it home and you take care of your family. There was no such thing as a job. There was no such thing as a career. There was no such thing as money. There was no such thing as all this dumb shit that we worry about, that superficial stuff that we worry about today, right? Education, such as a high school degree, diploma, such things as money, such things as, makeup, such things as all iPhones, all these trinkets, all this bullshit stuff that we have in society today, none of that stuff existed 200 years ago. So you didn't have to worry about, is that guy, when a girl looks for a guy, she didn't have to worry about, hey, does that guy have a college degree? Does that guy have money? No fucking girls worried about that dumb shit 200 years ago, right? The only thing they worried about is that man capable of protecting me, right? When another tribe comes over here and tries to pillage and rape our village, can that man protect me or not, right? Can that man grow food? Can that man raise cattle and raise pigs and chickens and feed me while I'm 9 months pregnant? That's what men and women used to worry about, okay? And when I came out of prison, I was just shocked to see people worried about the dumbest shit, about what comments people make on Facebook or on Twitter or online. So when I came out, I was like, man, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy for me to make life-changing profits and become a multi-millionaire because this is easy, right? So because I don't worry about none of these feelings, right? Don't ever ask me, when you guys meet me in person, don't ever ask me Ty, are you happy? How are you feeling today? I got people asking me, hey Ty, how does it feel now that you're wealthy, you're one of the wealthiest guys in the world right now, and are you happy? Are you happy, Ty? I look at that as the dumbest fucking question to ever ask a man. You can ask a little boy that question. You can ask a little weak-ass man like that. You cannot come to someone who survived 14 years in prison, a year in the refugee camps, right? Years of decades of poverty, 14 years in prison, and ask if he feels how he feels. Don't ever ask that. That's the dumbest fucking question to ask a strong, masculine man, okay? I don't give a shit about how I feel, okay? I don't give a shit if I have the $1 million and I feel happy or I feel sad or I feel upset. I don't give a shit about none of that, okay? Like when people ask me, like, am I happier now because I'm a multi-millionaire versus when I was poor and broke, right? I don't give a shit. Like, why does that matter, right? Why does that matter? Why does it matter if I'm happy or not? You know, we chase because happiness is a fleeting moment. It's impossible for me to be happy 24 hours a day. It doesn't matter if I have $1 billion, $1 million, or $100 or $0, right? It's impossible for me to be happy or for anyone to be happy 24 hours a day. I might be happy because you said something funny, right? I might be happy because I said something funny, right? I might be happy because I see somebody doing some crazy shit, right? In Asia, you don't see too many Asian people doing crazy shit like you do in America. One thing I like about America is, man, there's a lot of white people that live there, right? I think like 68% of the population in America is white, you know? So we got a lot of crazy people doing crazy shit, right? In Asia, they don't have that crazy mentality and do crazy shit like white people do. That's one thing I do miss about America, you know. I miss seeing guys, you know, put a rocket engine to a bicycle and see how fast it goes, right? So that's I'm telling you guys that, and I hope you guys understand that. I hope you guys understand that if you're concerned about your short-term feelings, your short-term emotions, right, then the majority of the time it's going to be very, very hard for you to make life-changing profits, okay? Life-changing profits comes from you not worrying about none of that dumb shit, okay? You just focus. What should you focus on as a man? What should you focus on, okay? The problem that I see that a lot of people nowadays, modern guys, that they're missing is that they don't produce. The guys nowadays, they're just consumers. You don't see guys producing. You don't see guys creating. You don't see guys designing. You don't see guys engineering. You don't see guys manufacturing, right? You don't see guys making stuff. Men are producers. Men have to produce stuff, okay? I don't care if you're a farmer and you're producing wheat. I don't care if you're a rancher and you're producing cattle, right? I don't care if you're an oil guy and you're producing oil. I don't care if you're a software engineer and you're producing software code. I don't care if you're a teacher and you're producing lessons and curriculums and courses, right? I don't care if you're a landscaper. You're one of these guys running around cutting grass out in the hot sun. You are producing, you are creating a beautiful lawn. You're creating beautiful grass, okay? You are creating something. If men are not creating, producing, manufacturing, designing, and engineering, right, your life is going to be empty. And that emptiness is what people translate as to being sad, being lonely, being depressed, all that dumb shit. Okay, those are all, to me, those are all fake ass illnesses. I don't believe in none of that shit. Okay, I don't believe in none of that shit. You take a guy that is depressed, you get him out into the field and get him to fucking plow a field, grow some damn rice, grow some damn wheat, right? Grow an apple tree, grow a mango tree, grow a coconut tree, take that damn mango or that coconut or that rice or that wheat, go convert it into bread or into dried fruit or into snacks and go feed somebody with it. And I'll guarantee you that guy ain't gonna be depressed anymore or lonely no more or feel like he's not worth anything. Okay? Men have to produce. Men have to create. Men have to manufacture. If you take those things away, like when I was growing up in America, it was mandatory that every boy that went to high school had to take a shop class and learn how to use a hammer, learn how to use mechanical tools, learn how to fix a car engine, learn how to change an oil, learn how to use a saw and cut a piece of wood, learn how to use a welding machine and weld metal together, right? These are all the things that was mandatory for all the kids that I grew up in America. If you meet any guy that's 52 years old or 50 years old in America from my generation and your car breaks down, they know how to change a damn tire. Because that's something that we were all taught in America when I was growing up. We were all taught to be men that knows how to build stuff, knows how to create stuff, knows how to repair stuff with our hands. And nowadays, you got these, when I came out of prison, I was shocked that my little brother did not know how to use a hammer, a claw hammer. He did not know how to use some vice grip pliers. He did not know how to use a Phillips screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver. I was so upset when my younger brother did not know how to do that. I wanted to take the claw hammer and bang him upside the head with it so he could knock some sense into him and show him, this is how you use a damn hammer, you fucking idiot. Right? Now, my little brother during COVID, he was 32 years old, right? And he shot himself in the head and committed suicide because he couldn't handle the pressures of society. He couldn't handle the pressures of the COVID lockdowns and everything. Some of you guys might see me tweeting out that COVID is bullshit, and it is bullshit because it hurts more people. The response that the world had to COVID killed more people, more innocent people than the COVID did itself. Okay? The response is what I call the scam. I'm not going to call the COVID, the actual virus, a scam because it is a virus. It is real. Okay? That's not a scam. But the response that the governments, how they responded, how they locked everybody down, and then how they forced my little brother to commit suicide, right? That is a scam. No one's ever going to be punished for that. No one is ever going to go to prison for locking down my little brother and forcing him into suicide. No one. No one will ever be responsible for that. Okay? Now, if you ask me, hey Ty, are you sad? Are you upset? You know, are you saddened by the fact that your younger brother committed suicide during the COVID lockdown? Absolutely not. That is the dumbest question to ask me. Okay? The reason is because I just told you guys for nearly an hour now that I don't believe in short-term feelings and emotions, right? If my little brother is dumb enough to put a gun to his head and pull the trigger, that's on him. That's not my responsibility. Okay? I was in prison most of the time. When I went to prison, my little brother was about 5, 6 years old. And when I came out of prison, he was like, I think like 19, 20 years old, right? And he did not, I told him to come with me, live with me. And he was trained by his stepmom and his sister, my little sister. They all trained him to constantly worry about his feelings and his emotions, right? He was the fattest fucking goddamn Vietnamese kid in America. He weighed about almost 350 pounds, okay? And if he didn't commit suicide, his weight would have killed him anyway, right? Did me and my older brother feel sad? Did we feel depressed? Did we feel angry because our little brother committed suicide, right? Absolutely not. Because my little brother and I knew that our weak-ass brother, something eventually was going to happen that was going to be stupid anyway, okay? Because he was a soft-ass, weak-ass little brother, okay? My little older brother did not have drugs, he did not have guns, and they put him in prison for 30 years to break him, to kill him. They put him in the hole for like 6 years, okay? 6 years my older brother was in the hole. And he came out and is still tough as steel today. You cannot break him mentally. So if I have an older brother like that, and I am like that, we are going to look at our younger fat ass brother, okay, And yes, he is fat ass. There's no reason why a Vietnamese guy that's 6 foot tall should weigh 350 fucking pounds. Okay? There is absolutely no reason. He is a fucking fat ass. Okay? And I tried for many years to get him to come with me to the gym and work out. His mom would stop him. His sister would stop him. And he was a complete weak ass because he was raised by 2 women to be weak asses. If he grew up around me, or he grew up around my brother, or he grew up around both of us, he would never have committed suicide. He would never be 350 pounds, and he would never be such a fucking weak ass. So when he committed suicide, right, I have absolutely no feelings about that. Now, do we try to do what we can as a responsible older brother, go get him buried and, you know, do whatever we can, right? We tried, but my little sister blocked us. We couldn't have access to his body or nothing, okay? I tried to get him the proper, you know, to do our responsibility as older brothers, right? Did we do our responsibilities? Yes. But do we feel sad about it? Absolutely not. Not one bit. The reason why is because my brother and I do not tolerate weak men. We do not tolerate weak men in our family, okay? If we have a weak ass brother, right, he needs to go somewhere else. He doesn't need to be our brother, okay? You guys might think it's harsh, okay? But there is absolutely zero advantage to our family, to our village, to our city, to our country, right, in having weak ass men, okay? And that's the reason why I say this in this video, is that you cannot let short-term feelings and emotions affect you. You just don't give a fuck about any of the short-term feelings or emotions you have, right? If somebody cuts off your leg, right, you step on a landmine, shut the fuck up, put a tourniquet around it, grit your teeth, right, and move on. That's how men are supposed to behave, okay? Men are not supposed to focus on short-term feelings and emotions, right? Men are supposed to focus on producing, manufacturing, engineering, designing, and creating and building, not on feelings, okay? So I'm gonna pause right here and see if you got any questions, right? Let me know if you have any questions, if you're clear on what I understood about short-term feelings and emotions and why you need to avoid them, okay? Sugatu asked, do you think you would have made it if you had not been to prison? I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to say. You know, before I went to prison, I was a scared little kid. I was poor. I had a poverty mindset. When I went to prison, you know, the book that changed my mind was when I read, oh God, what is the name of that book? Something Power. My God, my memory is just fading, guys. That's why I make these videos, guys, because I know my memory's fading, and I just want to remember it. I want to record this for my kids in the future so they can look back and see how their dad thinks or how their grandfather thinks, right? What is it? I know that he has a 21 tape program called the Personal Power. I'm the first prisoner in U.S. history to smuggle that program into 3 different prisons. The Personal Power cassette training program that Tony Robbins has, right? Something Power. God damn it. The name of the book, right? It's something Power. The name of the cassette program is called Personal Power, but the name of the book is something also Power. But that was the book it's Unlimited Power, I think. Yeah, that's the name of the book, Unlimited Power, right? No, The Laws of Power is not it. It's Unlimited Power, right, by Tony Robbins. And in that book was the first time that I heard that somebody said to me that your mindset, you know, how you think, your belief systems creates your life. And I was like, wow, you know, this is the first time I ever heard this. And it's true. If I don't believe in something, if I don't believe I can make life-changing profits, then I'm never going to get off my ass and get my ass off the couch and go do the actions that Ty tells me to do because I don't believe it. Why would I do it for? I don't believe it, right? However, if I do believe it, then I'll go do what he's sharing with me. I'll go buy some Bitcoins, hold it, wait until the next bull market when it pops up, right? Establish my personal financial goals and sell it when the market gives me an opportunity and fulfill those financial goals, right? Then I'll go do it. But if I don't believe it, why would I do it for, right? So that's the thing that really, really changed my mind, that just completely changed my mind. I've never heard of something like that before. And that's why I try to share some of these ideas with you guys online, because I don't know which idea will impact your life or influence you to make that change in your life to improve your family and your to improve your life and your family's well-being, right? All it took was one idea, the idea that if I changed my belief systems, that I would change my life. That's all it took. Just that one idea made me realize, right? Because before I read Unlimited Power, I genuinely believed that, because my parents, everybody around me told me that, hey, you know, we're born a poor family. We just got to live with it and wait till the next life, you know, and maybe we'll have some better karma and try to do good in this life and have better karma and reap the rewards of the good karma in the next life and have a better life, and maybe we'll be rich or something, right? And I used to think when I was growing up, like, how does that make sense? Like, why do I got to wait till the next life? Like, why can't I do something in this life and receive the reward for it in this life? Why do I have to wait for the next life for it? And so that was something that always troubled me. And so when I read that Unlimited Power by Tony Robbins, and he said, no, you got to change your mindset now, and that's going to impact your life now. And so that was the biggest game-changing book that I have ever read, was the Unlimited Power. Okay, there's other books too, okay? But that was the main one, okay? So, and I'll share with you one of the other books too, is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I never knew how to get rich, right? And I always thought that even when I believed that, hey, you know what, I can escape poverty, I never considered being a millionaire. I just, you know, after reading Unlimited Power, I just realized, hey, you know what, I can escape poverty, okay? I can't escape poverty. I know I can do that, right? Because other people have done it. Millions of people in America have done it. So I know I can do that. I just got to copy their beliefs. I got to copy what they do. But becoming a millionaire, it took reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad's book. In there, it said that if you want to become a good doctor or a good healer, then you go to school to be a doctor. If you want to be a good mechanic, you got to go learn how to fix engines. If you want to be a good bridge builder, you got to go learn engineering, right? If you want to become rich, you got to go learn how to make money. And that sounds so simple, guys. It sounds so simple. You want to learn how to make money, you got to go learn how to make money. You want to learn how to be a good artist, you got to go learn how to paint. You can't go learn how to paint and expect to make a lot of money. And as simple as that was, guys, that was a game-changing book for me, because I realized now that if I want to become a millionaire, all I had to do was just go learn what other millionaires do and just copy them, right? And that's why when we create the cryptocurrency investing blueprint, that is a blueprint of how our team became multimillionaires in the cryptocurrency investing space, right? That's how we did it. If you guys want to learn how we did it, that's where you go get it, right? It's on the, what is it? Yeah, it's right here. It's right below me, right there, okay? Right there. Go get you a copy of the blueprint, and we explain everything that we do in there, right? Now, and so that was mind-blowing for me, okay? One of the reasons why, you know, one of the things that inspired us to create the cryptocurrency investing blueprint was actually because of all the books like Unlimited Power, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? That fascinated me when I was in prison, to the point that I risked a lot of things to smuggle. Listen carefully, guys. If you guys go look for a Tony Robbins Personal Power program, you will see it. And Can you guys hear me now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why would the freaking audio just cut off in the middle of the damn live stream? One, two, three. All the freaking indicators on my side shows that the audio is working now, right? Can you guys let me know the audio is working? Oh man, this is my worst enemy, guys. An Asian guy that doesn't know technology, that's not good with technology. This is gonna be, I'm like 0 and 10, man, with live streaming technology now. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please put in the chat and say that we can hear you now. Okay, so, man, I don't know where I even got cut off, right? So, I'll just finish, right? What? Ah, man. Oh, I don't know what to do here. I mean, I haven't touched anything. You guys have seen that I haven't touched anything, and the audio just changed on me. The thing is, the OBS live streaming software, the camera software, they're all showing that the audio is working fine and the audio signals. So that's the thing about live streaming, you know. On my end, all the signals I'm looking at show that it's working fine. But you guys are telling me that it's more quiet now, and okay, audio's not matching the video. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, I'm not exactly sure. I have a recording. Okay, I have a recording of this on a separate camera. So if anything, I'll just upload the video afterwards. Okay. There's a 30-second delay, guys, between when I say something and when I actually see you guys put a comment in there about it. So it's not live streaming in real time. There's like a 30-second delay, right? All right. So what I was saying, guys, is that I don't know what else to do about the audio, guys. What I was saying when I was pointing at the guns, in case you guys missed me, didn't hear what I said. I said that I went and approached the drug dealers and the drug smugglers in the prison. I tried to smuggle these things into the prison, all right? I tried to smuggle the Tony Robbins personal power cassette tapes, right? And bring it into the prison. And the cassette tapes is the equivalent of smuggling one of these guns in. Okay, it's huge. It's not small, right? And when I approached the drug dealers to ask them to smuggle it in for me, they thought I was batshit crazy. I said, why the hell do you need to smuggle these cassette tapes into the prison, right? Because you guys can imagine that if they can smuggle a box that big, you know how much drugs they can put in there and smuggle it into the prison instead of wasting time smuggling these cassette tapes in, right? They normally charge a shitload of money to smuggle things into prison. And it's usually drugs that they're smuggling into prison. Okay, they don't smuggle educational material into prison, right? And so when I approached them, they actually did not know how much to charge me. When I told them and I showed them the pictures, right? When I showed them the pictures of what the cassette tapes look like, they were shocked that I wanted to bring those cassette tapes in. So they only charged me double what the cassette tapes actually cost. So I think it was like $150 for the cassette tapes, and then they charged me like $300 to bring all those cassette tapes in for Tony Robbins. So I smuggled it into 3 different prisons. 3 different prisons. Okay, I smuggled it into Fort Worth. In the Fort Worth prison, I smuggled it into the Big Springs prison, and I smuggled it into the Oakdale prison. Okay, 3 different prisons that I smuggled this cassette tapes in. Okay, and the reason why was because it was such a powerful program. It helped me and so many other prisoners. I mean, like, Tony Robbins has no idea how much those cassette tapes helped me and so many other young prisoners to change our lives and quit the life of crime. Like, you guys have no idea. It's that powerful, right? And that was the reason why I smuggled it in to the prison, because every prison I went to, I tried to smuggle it in, and I can honestly say that every young guy, every white guy, every Mexican guy that I shared those cassette tapes with, I can assure you that none of them ever went back to prison. Okay, so if you ask me, I feel that the books and the cassette tapes from Tony Robbins has done more to prevent people from going back to prison than anything that the government has ever done in America. That's my personal opinion. Okay, because none of the guys that I shared those cassette tapes none of those guys that I shared the Unlimited Power book with, none of them are back in prison. None, not one of them. Okay, so I believe that it was worth it for me to smuggle those cassette tapes in because it helped a bunch of my friends stay out of prison. Okay, and it always fascinated me how we have never met Tony Robbins in real life. We don't know who he is, and he's just some random dude living way over there in the island of Fiji, and he's able to make these cassette tapes and write these books and write these courses and able to help people all over the world. And unbeknownst to him, there's guys smuggling it into the prison and changing their lives with it. And if you guys, ask what inspired me, or what are some of the reasons that encouraged me to create the cryptocurrency investing blueprint, right? That is one of them. I can, from 100% certain, tell you that one of the reasons that inspired me to create the cryptocurrency investing blueprint course was that I saw how one person can share their knowledge and their experience with millions of other people all over the world. Okay, those 100 millionaires that called me and thanked me for helping them grow their portfolio to $1 million or more, they come from all over the world. Most of them came from the U.S. Okay, most of them came from the U.S. Right, but a big portion of it, right, also came from around the world. People in India, people in Vietnam, people in Europe, people in Australia, people in New Zealand, people in Mexico, people in Colombia, people in Dubai, right? And it has helped us expand our network. Like, everywhere we go now in the world, we have a student that is taking our cryptocurrency investing blueprint course, and all we have to do is just let our students know that, hey, we're in Dubai, we're new to Dubai, any of our students in Dubai, and some of them will answer yes, and they'll come and they'll show us around. And that is one of the most amazing things that I have to say. And if you guys wonder why we have made life-changing profits in the cryptocurrency world and we still sell a course, right? The reason is because, number one, right, it helps us create a financial education program for our kids when they grow up, so they don't start from zero knowledge like we did, like me and Leon did. So they have a head start. They understand how finances work. They understand how to build a profitable investing system from the time that they're young. Okay. Now, we require all our kids to study our cryptocurrency investing blueprint before we give them any money. If they don't want to study it, then they ain't going to get no money from us. Okay. The second thing that it does is that it helps us create a network of students around the world that allows us to meet other people. You have no idea the people that we get to meet because we have this course. If we didn't have it, I don't know how we would meet these people, right? And so that's huge. Now, some of people, will accuse us of making money selling courses instead of making money trading and investing in the crypto market. And I can tell you they are 100% wrong. Okay, we make money from selling courses, and we make money from cryptocurrency trading and investing. However, if you ask us what portion do we get from selling courses versus what portion do we get from trading and investing in crypto, I can tell you that the money that we make from selling courses is not even 1% of our income. It's not even close to 1%. Okay? What I stake alone in crypto every month makes more money than what I sell in courses every month. Okay? That's just me. I'm not even talking about all my other teammates. Okay? Just me alone. All right? So it's I think it's silly to say that we make the majority of our life-changing profits from selling, courses. That's not where we make our money. We make our money from actually investing in the crypto market. Okay, that's why you guys don't see us make a lot of clickbait videos. That's why you guys don't see us make a lot of videos every day, because that's not where we make our money from. It's a bear market right now. Many of you guys want me to make more videos, but what videos do you guys want me to make? I mean, we made videos telling you guys we're buying, right, in the third quarter and fourth quarter of 2022. We told you guys that we're going to start buying from January 1st in the first quarter of 2023, and we're going to keep buying all year long until the bull market comes. Until we see signs that we're in a bull market, then we'll stop buying. But if not, we're going to continue buying, right? So what other videos do you guys want me to make? Tell me. If you guys want me to make a video, right? We've been making videos for the last 10 years, and we've shared everything that we know, right, online. What other videos do you guys want us to make? We are not going to make videos for clickbait, guys, right? I'm making this video today because I see a lot of people making the mistake about, always catering, always focusing on their short-term feelings and emotions, right? Where in the reality, if you want to make life-changing profits, you got to not give a shit about what your short-term feelings are. You wake up that day, you feel tired, who gives a shit? You feel sad, who gives a shit? Don't worry about it, right? You feel depressed, don't worry about it. Go out there, produce, go out there, create, go out there, manufacture, go out there, design, go out there and engineer, go out there and build stuff. If you're a man, go out there and produce something in this world. I don't care if you produce food, I don't care if you produce babies, I don't care if you produce, soybeans, I don't care if you produce cupcakes, I don't care if you produce ice cream, I don't care if you build a bridge, right? I don't care if you pour concrete and build a sidewalk and build a home, put up a roof, build something, create something, produce something, okay? And stop worrying about your bullshit short-term feelings and emotions, because none of that shit matters, right? It comes, 5 minutes later, it disappears. You're angry, an hour later, it disappears. You're sad, 10 minutes later, it disappears, right? You're jealous, an hour later, it's gone, right? You're worried, tomorrow you wake up and it's gone. Why are you slowing down your life? Why are you stumbling yourself? Why are you doing things to hold you back from making life-changing profits, right? Why are you doing these things over some short-term, temporary bullshit that comes and goes, right? Why would you do that? It does not even make any sense, okay? Let me know if you guys have any questions, right? If you don't have any questions, then I'm going to be done with this broadcast. Let me know if you have any questions, right? Unwin says, is there something that you are able to say that we, the little money, that are not able to say? I don't know what that means. I mean, you can say whatever you want, right? There's things I can say because I have money, right? People will, depend upon what culture you're in. But usually around the world, if you have a little bit more money, then your voice has a little bit more influence, okay? The reason why I want to become a billionaire is not because I need that extra money, right? I have everything I want right now, right? However, I feel like if I can influence the world for a positive change, if I can influence someone to stay out of prison and not go sell drugs, if I can influence someone to get out of the gangs and not go to prison, if I can influence someone not to go do a drive-by and go to prison, if I can influence someone to believe that they can escape the ghetto, right, and get out of poverty, then I will really have achieved. I will feel satisfied that I have helped other people. Okay, I feel like, I've been retired now since 44 years old. Okay, I'm 52 now, right? I'm not one of those guys that's gonna sit on my ass, lay on a hammock at the beach, drink coconuts, and just goof off every day. Those are weak ass men that do that. Okay, strong men don't do that. Strong men focus on producing, manufacturing, creating, building, designing, engineering. They do that until the day they die. Okay? Whenever you guys hear about guys that get rich and they go fuck off at the golf course and do all that other shit, I'm not one of those guys. Okay? I've been poor most of my life. I might not be an expert at being rich, but I am definitely a world-class expert at being poor and being in poverty, because I've been poor for over 4 decades of my life. Okay? So I'm an expert at being poor. And anything that I can do to prevent people from being poor, or to help people escape poverty, or to escape being poor, right, and better themselves, I would prefer to do that than go play golf every day. Okay? Great Wolf asks, your other 200 students that aren't millionaires yet, what problems are they running into that's preventing them from succeeding? The biggest problem that prevents our students from having similar success is their ego. That's the number one root cause of poverty, is ego. Number 2 reason would be focusing on short-term feelings and emotions, which you should not do. Okay? We tell them to do something and they don't do it. We tell them, hey man, it's time to buy. We tell them we're going to buy in January 2023. Many students have not bought. Many students waited until February. Some students waited until March. Some students waited until April. Some students waited until May. Some students waited until June. Some students waited until July. Some students haven't even bought yet. They're waiting until next year or something. I don't know why. I don't know why you would sign up and study our cryptocurrency investing blueprint and to learn what we do, and then when we do it, you don't do it. I don't know why, right? Now, so I would not focus, Great Wolf, I would not focus on why the other 200 students are not millionaires, right? Oh, and also there are valid reasons too. Some of them don't have, maybe some of them only started with $1,000, maybe some of them only started with $5,000, and they did not get a chance, and some of them, they started late, so they only made a small profit. They didn't make a big life-changing profit yet, right? So those are all valid reasons too. But the ones that are our students in 2018 and 2019 that started studying our cryptocurrency investing blueprint in 2018, 2019, and 2020, during those 3 years, and they had like 20 to $50,000, and they didn't become a millionaire, it's only because of their ego, nothing else. Ego, because they just think they know better, and we teach them to do A, B, C, and they said, you know what, I think doing A and B is enough. We don't need to do C. This doesn't look important to us. And that's one of the primary reasons, is ego. Okay. Brandon Thomas asks, will you invest in BRC20 NFT or BTC ecosystem? We will invest into anything that has potential to make life-changing profits. Right now, we are not investing into any BRC20 NFTs yet. Okay, the NFT market, the only thing that our team is investing into that is anything remotely related to the NFT market is we bought some ApeCoin, and that's it. Okay, the reason why we haven't bought any of the other NFTs or anything like that is because we don't believe there's enough liquidity for us to buy. There's just not enough liquidity in the NFT market for us to buy something, and the spreads are so big that we don't see a huge benefit in it yet. Do we believe in NFTs? Yes. Matter of fact, right? If you guys, let me see if you guys can see this. if you guys see that white machine right there, that white machine right there, with the Buddha sitting on top, that white machine is a 3D printer. It's like a $500 3D printer, right, from Flash Forge. So we are printing up some prototypes, right, because we want to produce some NFT bulls and bears, right, physical NFTs, right. So I want to produce that. That's why you guys see a bunch of bulls around me, right, because I'm trying to figure out how to design the bull so it looks nice, right. And then on this side of the machine, there's a $8,000 3D printer on this side where the machine gun, the M249 machine gun is sitting on top of. There's an $8,000 Flash Forge printer, 3D printer sitting right here. So I have NFT designers designing some bulls and bears for me, and as soon as they finish, we are testing out to build some, NFT statues, some physical NFTs. So we do believe in NFTs, okay? Just because we don't invest into a lot of the NFT coins or NFT projects right now, that does not mean that we don't believe in NFTs. We believe there's a huge potential for it. That's why I'm investing into these 3D printers so we can manufacture physical NFTs. And I'll share with you guys more about that when I do that. And I'm also looking at investing into a NFT shoe company, okay? So I hope, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I saw a shoe company that I really like, and I want to see if I can partner up with them and invest into it. Okay, so those are the NFT things that I'm working on in the background. I told you guys at the beginning of this video that I'm a gifted artist, so because of that, I like art. I like art. It may not look like it, right? But I like art. Like all the stuff that you see behind me, all the guns, the cars, and everything. I actually really don't even care too much about shooting the guns, right? I actually like it because of the art. Okay, I like the engineering, the design of it. That's what I like. Okay, so that's what's important to me. So I really do like art, and I like NFTs, and I like the combination of those two. And I would prefer to focus on physical NFTs because I believe that when you sell an NFT, I believe that people should get something physical, and I think that's more rewarding than to just get a digital JPEG on the internet, right? So when we create our physical NFTs, we will create it, and then we'll also have a JPEG that goes along with the physical NFT and the digital signatures and everything. So not only do you have it as a JPEG, but we will also ship you the actual physical NFT itself, the bull or the bear or the combination of the two, or whatever it is that we design. Okay, so Brandon Thomas also asked if the BTC ecosystem. Right now, we are aware of the BTC ecosystem, but we don't see anything in there that's life-changing. So we would just prefer to just invest into the Bitcoin itself, right? I did try to invest into the Nunchuck wallet, right? But I don't think they were interested in us investing into them. I don't know the reason why, but we tried, but I never heard back from them. So let me see. Anon, just curious, what would you do if one of your sons was gay or transgender, right? I don't know why he's asking me that for, right? The reason why I don't contemplate or think about those things, because I believe that if you think about something too much, it becomes a reality, right? Like if I don't want my kids to be gay or transgender or lady boys, right, then I'm not going to sit there and think about it, right? I think that there's a misunderstanding out there, right, that I hate gay people or I hate lady boys or some shit like that. I actually don't. I really don't even care. Like if you want to be a lady boy, go ahead. If you want to be gay, go ahead. I mean, that's none of my business. Like what you want to do in your personal private life is none of my fucking business. It's yours, right? The thing that I'm against is when these pedophiles and these chesters, right? When I grew up in America in the 80s and the 90s, right? If you try to have sex or do anything that was sexually related to young kids, we would call you a pedophile. or we would call you a child molester, okay? And we would combine the words child and molester into one word, and we'd call you a chester. So a chester is a pedophile, okay? And nowadays, they call them groomers. Nowadays, they call them people who are attracted to minor attracting people, right? I don't care what the fuck you label these people, right? You're a fucking child molester. You're a pedophile. You know what we do to pedophiles in prison, right? In prison, right, when we catch you as a pedophile, you will not leave prison. You will go straight to the clouds and meet St. Peter. That's it. That's only one crime in prison that no criminals and nobody in prison tolerates. Actually, two. One is child molesting and raping young kids, right? And number two is raping women. Okay? Those are the two crimes that no prisoner tolerates. So what they do is whenever a pedophile or a chester, right, or a rapist comes into prison, right, what they do is they change their name into a different name. And then the government will actually create a fake criminal case for that person. So let's say a child molester comes into prison. What happens is, let's say their name is Bob. They'll change their name to John. And then let's say they're in there, they have 20 years for child molesting or whatever, or pedophilia. They'll change it and say they're in there for 5 years for drugs or 10 years for drugs. Okay? The reason why we know that these people are pedophiles is because the prison staff knows. The prison knows their real crime. And they will always expose those people because none of the people in prison likes pedophiles either. And out of the 500 prison guards at the prison, somebody is going to reveal and expose who the pedophiles are. Somebody in those 500 prison guards will do it. Even though they have taken an oath that they're supposed to be confidential and not reveal the pedophiles' crimes, right, to anyone, somebody in those 500 police officers that guard the prison will let the prisoners know who this pedophile is. And when the prisoners find out who that pedophile is or that Chester is, right, we all go beat the shit out of him. We literally beat the shit out of him and tell him to go say hello to St. Peter, okay? They will not be on the yard for long. They will not be on the prison population for long. There's none. So if you ever have a friend or you ever know someone where your kids got raped or got molested by a pedophile, please do not encourage them to drag out the court system, okay? Please do not do anything. Let them go to prison, okay? If you want justice, right, you let them go to prison because the prisoners in there will deliver the justice for you. And it's much faster. And you don't have to go to prison. You don't have to try to stab that pedophile in court. You don't have to try to kill him. You don't have to try to shoot him in court, right? I can understand if you do. I can understand if you want justice in the courtroom. But I can assure you that it's a lot better, it's a lot cleaner, and it's a lot safer for you if you just let that pedophile go to prison, okay? Because the other guys in there will hold court for him in there, okay? That's the reason why you hardly ever see any pedophiles or chesters in prison, because the prisoners can sniff them out. And if they don't sniff them out, right, the guards will expose who they are. And the way they do it is what they'll do is they will get the newspaper clippings, the media, okay, from the media, and they will cut out the newspaper article and they will go and drop it off to, they will post it publicly so everyone can see it, the picture of the rapist or the picture of the pedophile, and everybody that walks by will see who it is. And it doesn't take long for people to identify the picture of the guy in the newspaper article versus the prisoner that's walking around. They will match the two up very, very quickly and take care of it, okay? So, I hope that answers the question, okay? I don't have a problem with somebody being gay. I don't have a problem with somebody being a ladyboy. What I have a problem with is when you go to the schools and you go to the government and you teach and you groom these young kids to accept that so that you can rape them and you can, for your sexual pleasures. You got some sick bastards in the government that want to see little boys dressed up as girls. Okay? They're sick. Those politicians should go to prison. Okay? We shouldn't support what they do, right? That's what I'm against. If a child grows up and he wants to be gay, he wants to be a ladyboy, let him be. Okay, but that's an adult. But when they're in elementary school and they're in junior high school and they're in high school, there's no reason, okay, that if me and my friends are paying taxes to go to that school to teach the kids math and science, I don't want those kids learning about how to suck dick or how to fuck somebody else in the ass. Okay? I don't want that. I want them to figure that out when they're an adult. When I'm not paying for their education. When I pay for someone's education, for another kid's education, I have the right to say that that money should be spent to teach them math and science. I have the right to do that. Okay, so sometimes you guys might see me tweet about it or say something about it online. I have the right to say for it because I'm the one paying for their education. Okay, with my tax money. If I'm not paying for it, then I'll shut the hell up. But if I'm paying for it, if the government makes me pay for it, then I have the right to say something about it. Okay? I am paying my tax money for those kids to learn math, science, and language skills. I'm not paying for them to go learn how to cut their penis off or cut their balls off and become a little girl. Okay? There's no benefits to turning a little boy into a little girl for a family, for a city, for a village, for a country. There is zero benefits to doing that. The only benefit that it has is that it benefits the perverts and the fucking pedophiles in the government. Okay? That's the only people that it benefits. It does not benefit anyone else. Okay? So that's why I'm against it. Okay? Unwin asks, why you know this is a bear market right now? Because a bear market is when something falls less than 50%. Okay? If you look at the last 6 or 7 market cycles, the average bear market crash is minus 74%, right? And we have minus 78% already. That's how we know it's a bear market. It's very simple. There's nothing complicated about that, okay? Don't try to overthink it. Don't try to fucking look for bullshit reasons, right? It's that simple. You look at the last 7 market cycles and the average bear market. In the bear market, the market crashes an average of minus 74%. And right now, right, it's minus 78% already, so we're in a bear market. It's that simple. Don't make trading and investing complicated. I know some of you guys want to feel like you guys did something by making it complicated to make you feel smart or something. Being smart is not what makes you life-changing profits. Building a solid, complete investing system is what helps you make life-changing profits. Not because you're smart, okay? Because you have a complete system, right? Biz asks, Ty, how do you feel about Bitcoin Cash for the future longevity, right? I don't feel anything, guys. I don't feel anything. Like you asked, I just spent 2 hours telling you guys not to feel about anything, and then you're asking me about how I feel about it, right? The question you should ask me is that, hey, Ty, do you own any Bitcoin Cash? And if you do, right, is it a big portion of your portfolio? And if you do hold it, right, do you plan on holding it for the short term or the long term? But how I feel about Bitcoin Cash does not give a fucking shit. You shouldn't give a shit about how I feel about anything, right? Right now, I do not hold any Bitcoin Cash, right? For the long term, at the moment, I don't see any signals that show that Bitcoin Cash has a long-term future. They lost the civil war between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, Bitcoin Core, right? And because of that, I don't see a long-term future for that. I mean, I have to see signals that it has a long-term future, right, before I want to hold it, right? So that's my answer. I hold 0 Bitcoin Cash right now, and do I see a long-term future for it? I don't see any signals that show that it has a long-term future, okay? Now, will it still be around? Like, will it still be around for the next 10, 20, 50 years? Yeah, I believe that. I believe that it'll be here for another 50 years. But do I believe that that's going to make me the life-changing profits that I'm looking for, I don't see what would cause it to grow 50x or 100x. I don't see. Okay, if I see it, then I'll buy it. But I don't see anything right now that I can see a lot of things that will make Bitcoin Core go up another 10x, 20x. But I don't see too many signals that show that Bitcoin Cash would go up 10x or 20x. Okay, so that's why I don't buy any. Yassine asks, I'm interested in the blueprint and want to know if I get access to you and Leon Fu to discuss my specific financial goals. Well, we talk about it in the blueprint already, Yassine, and then we talk about it in the private group chat. So if you have any additional questions, we can talk about it. But we answered pretty much most of those questions in the blueprint, and we answered most of those questions with in the software that we built for our students, the Taifu Portfolio Manager. If you go to the budget tab and enter your budget in there, it'll help you calculate your financial goals and everything. So that's not really that hard. Okay. So, but the answer is yes. Okay. Blackjack says prison justice. Absolutely. Right. I don't believe in hurting people. I don't believe in killing people. I don't believe in murder. I don't believe in rape. I don't believe in none of that shit. Okay. But I do believe in justice. I do believe that if you go hurt, innocent people, right, there's a price to pay. Just like I went and sold drugs, I broke the law, there's a price I have to pay. I had to pay 14 years of my life, right, for, drugs I didn't have. And really, when people ask me, what did I go to prison for, it's even embarrassing to even say that I went to prison for drugs or guns, right? Because that's not the real reason why I went to prison. The real reason that I went to prison was because I made a bad choice of friends. Friends who betrayed me, friends who were willing to sell me out, friends who were willing to set me up with the police so I can get arrested, so I can go to prison so they don't have to go to prison, so they can get a reduced sentence, right? I'm guilty. On paper, I'm in prison for drugs and guns. But the reality is, I'm in prison. I went to prison for nearly 14 years of my life because I made a bad choice of friends. I made bad allies, and I do not make those mistakes anymore. I learned my lesson, right? I got some good allies. I got some good friends. The Honorable Grandmaster, legendary, world-renowned LeonFu.com is my best friend. He's my business partner, and if something was to happen to me, and my assets and everything would go to him. It would not go to my wife. It would not go to my kids. It would not go to any of them. It would go to my business partner, LeonFu.com. And then I would have him distribute it to my wife and kids whenever it's necessary. Okay? Because if I'm not around, I trust him to make better decisions in finances for my wife and kids. When I'm not around, then I trust my wife and kids. Okay? So that's it. Right? So then people might say, hey, that's not your family. He's not in your family. He's not your brother. He's not your dad. He's not your uncle or something. Why would you trust a friend, right? Because all my life that I've known him, since I came out of prison, he has clearly demonstrated he is more than capable than the majority of the humans on this earth when it comes to making financial decisions. That's the reason why I trust him, okay? I don't give a shit if someone's my brother, right? I would never leave any money to my dad, to my uncle, to my brothers, to my sisters. I would never leave $1 to any of them because I don't trust any of them to make good financial decisions for my family. They have never indicated one time that they even know how to make a good decision for my family because all they worry about is short-term feelings and emotions. I cannot leave my assets and my money that I've created and the life-changing profits I created for me and my family to people that focus on short-term feelings and emotions. I have to leave it to someone that has zero effect when it comes to that short-term feelings and emotions have zero effect on him, and that's my friend Leon. The second person I would leave it to is my business partner, David, because he's the same way, okay? He's not let fucking, short-term feelings and emotions affect how he makes decisions. All right, so that's the reason why. Sugatu asked, do you believe in God? The answer is no. Until I see evidence, I don't believe in anything that I don't see evidence of. Okay. Great Wolf, do you have any opinion on Andrew Tate? Yeah, I think he's one of the greatest strong men on the planet, and I'm glad that he's the most influential guy, because I prefer to have guys like Andrew Tate influencing my kids, right, and other young boys out there, than to have these fucking cocksuckers out there trying to teach my kids how to suck dick and get fucked in the ass. That's the reason why. It's that fucking simple, right? His life philosophy on what men needs to be aligns with what you've been saying so far. Yeah, all strong men think alike. All strong men think alike. You guys don't have to say, oh, my ideas, coincide with Andrew Tate or with other people, because that's how all strong men think. That's how all strong men behave. If we were, back 200, 300, 400 years ago, and we were living in tribes, and if my tribe met Andrew Tate's tribe, we would try to ally with each other. Okay, that's that simple. Because strong men ally with other strong men. Okay, when he sees that I've been through what I've been through in the refugee camps, in the ghettos of America, and in the prisons, and I come out and I'm still here, and I'm one of the wealthiest guys in the world, he's going to respect that, and he's going to want to ally with guys like me and my team. And my team would want to ally with guys like him and his team. That's how strong men think. So it's not a coincidence that we both think the same way, or we have similar views about what men should do and about what women should do, right? I am grateful, that if I'm not the most influential people on the planet, right? I'm glad there's guys like him and his brother that are most influential, because I don't want my kids, I don't want the boys around my neighborhood, right, listening to fucking faggot ass motherfuckers out there. I want them to listen to strong men like that know how to protect their family, that know how to protect their friends, and knows how to make money, and knows how to be value to society. Okay? Again, guys, right? You guys hear me talk about these gay dudes and these faggots and everything, right? I don't have anything against them. Okay? I don't have anything against what people want in their sexual, preferences. What I'm against is these undercover pedophiles and child molesters, right, trying to molest these kids, right, openly and in public and in schools and stuff, when I'm paying for it. Okay, when I'm paying for their education, I don't want them coming over here trying to molest my kids or the kids around my neighborhood. Okay, that's what I'm against. Okay, but as an adult, they do whatever the hell they want. I don't give a shit, right? Let me see. Brandon Thomas says, do you invest in layer 2 projects? I haven't invested into any. It's not a focus. It's not something I pay attention to very much. Okay? It's very easy, guys. Most of our investments, like over 80% of our money is invested into pretty much the top 20 coins in the Taifu 30 crypto index. You guys don't have to ask me what coins. It's not a secret, guys. Like, we don't keep it a secret. We tell you guys exactly what we invest into. We invest into the coins in the Taifu 30 index. The reason why we do is because they're the only coins that can scale. Meaning that if you are managing a 7, 8, or 9-figure portfolio, a lot of the altcoins do not have enough liquidity. Okay? Give me a moment here to change this battery, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm not going to cut off. The video's going to cut off, but the live stream is not going to cut off. I got to change the battery real quick. All right, guys. All right. So if I run a power cord to my camcorder, it makes an electrical buzzing sound, and I don't know how to get rid of it other than to unplug it while I'm doing a live stream, right? So let me know if you can see me and hear me again, guys, because I want to make sure the audio and video is working again. So I don't know how to get rid of that buzzing noise from the power cord. That's why I got to use batteries in my camcorder. Okay. So it doesn't have that buzzing noise. Well, you guys able to hear me? Okay. Thanks, Push Praj. Okay. So, Sugatu asks, what motivates you to keep going? It's very simple, guys. I grew up in poverty for decades. When I was in prison, right? You know what the worst pain for me in prison was? The worst pain that I had, the worst suffering that I had in prison was not because I was in prison. The worst suffering that I had in prison was the whole time that I was in prison, I did not know how I was ever going to escape poverty. I knew that after I had a 15-year sentence, and if I stay out of trouble and do not fight or anything like that and don't kill nobody in prison, I know that they would let me out at around 13 or 14 years. So out of the 15-year sentence I had, I knew that I would have to be in prison for 13, 14 years, right? So, however, the thing that caused me a lot of suffering and stress was that I did not know what was going to happen after I came out of prison to escape poverty. I never knew how I was going to be able to escape poverty. And I knew that after a year or two in prison, I knew that even if you let me out of prison after a year or two of being in prison, I would still not be able to escape poverty. I would go back to the ghetto and do the same shit that I did. And that's what bothered me the most, knowing that if I even, as much as I want to go home and go home early and not be in prison for 15 years, as much as I wanted to be out on the streets again and have my freedom back, I knew that even if I go back to the streets again, I still have no solution to escape poverty. I knew that if I go back to the streets, I would be in a prison of poverty again. Nothing has changed. The only difference is that I'm still in a prison of poverty. The only difference is that instead of being in the ghetto, I'm inside a federal prison. Now, some of you guys might say, hey, Ty, you can't compare that. When you're in the streets, you can go here and go there, whatever. Not if you're poor. Like when I was poor, growing up in downtown Port Arthur, right? I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't even go to the other side of town because I was that broke. And the town is not even that big, all right? I couldn't go to Houston because I was too poor. I couldn't go to another state because I was too poor. I couldn't go to New York City to visit because I was too poor. I couldn't go to Miami to check out the beaches because I was too poor. So when you're poor, right, you're not going anywhere, right? You just stay in that one downtown ghetto-ass neighborhood with all your black friends, okay? You're too poor. You can't go nowhere. All my black friends are still in the same ghetto-ass black neighborhood in downtown Port Arthur, okay? Nothing has changed. So to me, even if I got out of prison early, it wouldn't have mattered because I'm still in prison of poverty. And so when I was in prison, after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I realized, hey, you know what? If I want to escape poverty, I need to learn about finances. I need to learn about businesses. I need to learn about investing, things like that. I made a promise to myself that someday when I escape the poverty prison, that I would share with other people how to get out. And that's what keeps me going. It's that simple, okay? I have seen so much crime in my life. I have seen people do a lot of nasty, evil stuff in my life because they were poor. Not because they were bad people, but because they were poor, okay? Nothing increases crime more than making people poor. And nothing reduces crime faster than getting people rich. Okay? So, that's the reason that motivates me. Okay? Brandon asks, Polygon is the only layer 2 in the type 2 index. That's fine. If it's in the index, we buy into it. Okay? So, since there's no more questions, right? I appreciate you guys following our channel. If there's something a topic that you find that's helpful that you want me to live stream about, you can tweet it out to me, and next time when I live stream, I'll consider it. Okay? So, thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. And I hope that in this video, I was able to help you guys avoid all the short-term feelings and emotions that hold people back and keep them in poverty. And if you can practice on not paying attention to it and not worrying about your little bullshit feelings that changes every 5 minutes, right? Then you will reach life-changing profits a lot faster and sooner. Thank you, guys. And make sure to follow me on Twitter right there at right there at Hey Taizen. And then if you guys want to learn how we build our investing system and how we build create life-changing profits, you're welcome to go right below it, right there, and get a copy of the cryptocurrency investing blueprint. Right? Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Thank you.